Once again, I welcome to my channel RL Classroom. So, in this video, I will discuss about the pavement design. So, in pavement design, firstly, I will discuss the types of pavement, and then the various design parameters, and then different types of method to design the pavement. So, there are two types of pavement. Types of pavement. So, there are two types of pavement. One is called flexible pavement and the second one is rigid pavement. So what is the difference between the flexible and rigid pavement? So difference between difference between flexible and rigid pavement. So if I write the difference, so one column I am writing pavement, flexible pavement, and another side is rigid pavement. So firstly I will see the uh, layout of this pavement. So on the base, on the lower portion, it will be subgrade, then subbase, then base course, then surface course. Surface course. So this is the layout, and this is the thickness of pavement. This is called thickness of pavement. Thickness of pavement. Similarly, in rigid pavement, so in rigid pavement, lower portion is subgrade, then it is base course, then it is cement concrete. So this is the layout of the flexible and rigid pavement. What is the another difference? So the first difference I told, this is the first difference. Second difference is load is transferred. In flexible pavement, load is transferred from grain to grain, and in the rigid pavement, load is transferred by slab action. Third difference is low flexible pavement has low or negligible flexural rigidity. What is flexural rigidity? So EI is low or negligible. Significant flexural rigidity. Fourth difference is joints are absent. Joints are absent. Joints are in rigid pavement. Joints are present. What is the another difference in the flexible and rigid pavement? So fifth one is initial cost is initial cost is low, but maintenance cost is high. Maintenance cost is high. Maintenance cost is high. But in the rigid pavement, initial cost is high, but maintenance cost is low. For the design of flexible pavement, generally we use IRC 37 2012. Sorry, it is 586. But for the design of rigid pavement, we use IRC 58 2012. So these are the major differences between the flexible pavement and rigid pavement. The first difference is in the we have seen that the layout of the flexible and rigid pavement. Then I told you load is transferred from grain to grain in the flexible pavement, but the load is transferred by the slab action. And third difference, that is I told you that flexible pavement had low or negligible flexural rigidity, but the rigid pavement had significant flexural rigidity, and joints are absent, joints are present, and the initial cost is low, but maintenance cost is high in flexible pavement. But initial cost is high and maintenance cost is low in the rigid pavement. Or IRC 37 2012 is used for the design of flexible pavement. IRC 58 2012 is used for the design of rigid pavement. So also there is a difference between the flexible and rigid pavement. IRC considers fatigue and rutting failure. So in flexible pavement, these types of failure will occur, that is fatigue and rutting failure, and in the rigid pavement, generally the mud pumping will occur. So what are the use of this pavement layers? That is, what is the use of subgrade, soil subgrade, and subbase, base course, and surface course? So the subgrade, the soil subgrade, it will take the entire pavement load. So soil subgrade have sufficient bearing capacity, and it should be compacted at optimum moisture content to get maximum density. Soil subgrade should not be stressed beyond the permissible limit, means the bearing capacity of the soil. Similarly, the use of subbase and base course, so it improves load supporting capacity and provide adequate drainage. For rigid pavement, base course generally provided to prevent the mud pumping and protect the soil subgrade from frost action. What is mud pumping? So mud pumping is a type of failure in the rigid pavement. If there is a no base course provided, then the surface water seeps through the cracks or joints and make soil slurry after mixing with the soil subgrade. So when any vehicle moves over the pavement, so soil slurry is moving outside due to the or ejected outside, due to which there is a deformation in the pavement layer, and due to this deformation, cracks, there is a chances of cracks will be created. The surface course generally provided to smooth riding surface and taking wearing and tear. So what are the different design parameters? So design parameters, if I discuss design parameters. So first design parameter, that is standard axle load. Standard standard axle load. So IRC suggested that, according to IRC suggested standard axle load is 8170 kg or 8.2 ton. So this is the suggested by the IRC. Let us assume this is our so this value is 4085 kg. This is also 4085 kg. So this is the first design parameter, that is standard axle load. Similarly, the vertical stress, second parameter, that is stress at any depth Z. So stress at any depth Z. So let us assume this is the so stress at any depth Z can be computed by Boussinesq formula for the circular loaded area. So according to Boussinesq equation for circular loaded area, so sigma Z is equal to P into 1 minus cos q theta, where cos theta P is the can be computed as P is equal to contact pressure, that is load divided by pi a square, and cos theta value can be written as, so what is the value of cos theta? So cos theta is equal to this value, z divided by square root of a square plus z square. With the help of that, we can compute the stress at any depth z, this point. Similarly, the third parameter, that is called equivalent single wheel load. Third is equivalent single wheel load, ESWL. So equivalent single wheel load can be computed. So let us assume this is the ground surface, or we can say that pavement thickness is 0, and the load is P, and another tire, this is also P, and load is distributed 45-degree angle, load dispersion at an angle of 45 degree. So this angle is 45 degree, this is also 45 degree, this is also 45 degree. Here the radius of contact area is small a. S is the center to center spacing between the tire. S is the center to center spacing between the tire, and D is the clear distance between the tire, and this is the overlap. So this depth is called Z is equal to 2S. So and this is the depth where the overlaps will start. Z is equal to D by 2. So equivalent single wheel load. Firstly, I will write the notation. So P is the wheel load, S is the center to center distance between tire, D is the clear distance between tire, small a is the radius of the contact area. So here we can see that one graph is also there. So if I see that graph versus the log P versus the thickness of the, and of course Z is the thickness of the pavement. So it is log, or we can say that equivalent single wheel load. It is on the log scale. This is P and this is Z on the log scale. Here also log scale. So graphs will look like this is called Z is equal to D by 2. This is called Z is equal to 2S. So when Z is less than equal to D by 2, the equivalent single wheel load is P, and if the Z is greater than equal to 2S, then it is 2P. Okay. So if I write this, so at any depth Z, at any depth in between the D by 2 to 2S, we can compute the value of, let us assume this is P dash. So we can write when Z is less than equal to D by 2, so equivalent single wheel load is equal to P. Case 1. Second case, when Z is greater than equal to 2S, equivalent single wheel load is equal to 2P. But third case, when Z lies in between D by 2 to 2S, so we can interpolate by this, or we can compute the slope of this line, that is, this is the slope theta for this line or for this triangle, and this triangle will be same. So we can write for this triangle, if I name it O A B C D. So in triangle OAB and OCD are similar. So we can write log 2P minus log P. So we can write log to the base 10 2P minus log to the base 10 log P to the base 10 divided by log to the base log 2S to the base 10 log 2S minus log D by 2 to the base 10, that is equal to the, in this triangle, so log P dash, we can write log P dash to the base 10 minus log P to the base 10 divided by log Z minus log D by 2 to the base 10. So at any depth Z, we can compute the equivalent single wheel load, that is P dash, we can compute by this expression. Another parameter that is called uh, repetition of load. So repetition of load can be computed as third parameter, that is repetition of load. So according to MacLeod, MacLeod, load is inversely proportional to the number of repetition of the load, or we can say Pn is equal to constant, where n is the number of repetition and P is the wheel load, or we can, if I apply at two sections, so we can write P1 and N1 is equal to P2 N2. So this is the third parameter Another two parameters, that is rigidity factor. What is rigidity factor? That will be covered in the next class. So firstly I will take few questions related to this concept. So the first question I have taken, that is, for an axial load of 10,000 kg, for an axial load of 10,000 kg, the number of repetition is 1 million. So what should be the number of repetition for the standard axial load? So we know that standard axial load is 8.2 ton. 8.2 ton. So 8.2 into 10 to the power 3 kg. So according to MacLeod's formula, according to MacLeod's formula, P1 N1, so we can write PS into N2. So P1 is given how much? 10,000 axial load. So 10,000 into number of repetition is 1 million. Standard axial load is 8.2 into 10 to the power 3 and corresponding number of repetition. Number of repetition is equal to 10,000 divided by 8.2 into 10 to the power 3. So N2 is, we can compute 10 by 8.2. So 10 divided by 8.2, 10 divided by 8.2. So it is 1.22 million is the number of repetition. 1.22 million is the number of repetition corresponding to the standard axial load. So B option is correct. Second question, what is the equivalent single wheel load of a dual wheel assembly carrying 20440 Newton each for pavement thickness? P is equal to 20440 Newton and the pavement thickness is 20 centimeter. Center to center spacing of the tire S is 20 centimeter and the distance between the wall of tire means clear distance is 11 centimeter. So we have to find the equivalent single wheel load. So if I draw the curve between the equivalent single wheel load ESWL and the pavement thickness Z on the log scale, this is also in log scale. So it will be look like this. So this is Z is equal to D by 2. So what is D? So D is 11 centimeter means 5.5 centimeter. And this is Z is equal to 2S. Here it is P, this is 2P. So we have to find the equivalent single wheel load at the thickness of 20 centimeter. So here Z is equal to D by 2 means 5.5 centimeter. Here Z is equal to 2 into S. So 2 into S is 20 centimeters means 54 centimeter. So 54 centimeters. So our Z, when Z is equal to 20 centimeter, we have to find the equivalent single wheel load, that is P dash. So this is the third case when Z lies in between D by 2 to 2S. So when Z lies in between D by 2 to 2S, so we can write log 10 to the base 2P. So 2P is how much? 2 into 20440. So 20, 2 into 20440. So it will be 40880. So we can write 40880 minus log to the base 10. It will be 20440. 20440 divided by log 54 to the base 10 minus log 5.5 to the base 10, that is equal to log P dash to the base 10 minus log to the base 20440 divided by log 20 minus log 5.5 to the base 10. So if I compute this value, so log 40880, sorry, log to the base 10 40880 minus log to the base 10 20440 divided by log to the base 10 54 centimeter minus log to the base 10, it will be 5.5. So this value is coming 0.303. 0.303, that is equal to log p dash to the base 10 minus this value is log to the base 10 20440. So it is coming 4.31 divided by log 20 minus log 5.5. So it is coming 0.56. 0.56. So we can write log p dash to the base 10 minus 4.31, that is equal to 0.303 into 0.56. So it is 0.17. So log p dash to the base 10 is equal to 4.31 plus 0.17. So it is coming 4.48. 4.48. So p dash can be written as p dash is equal to 10 to the power 4.48. So it is coming 30199.5 Newton. So if I see the option, so 30190, so approximate answer is D, 30199. So approximate answer is D. Another question I have taken from the same equivalent single wheel load, that is, calculate the equivalent single wheel load for a dual wheel assembly carrying a load. Individual load is 2050 kg on each tire of a pavement of thickness. We have to find at 5 cm and 50 cm. The center to center spacing is 30 cm and the clear distance D is equal to 12 cm. So once again, if I draw the curve versus equivalent single wheel load and pavement thickness Z. So when Z is equal to D by 2, when Z is equal to D by 2 means 6 cm. So when Z is equal to D by 2 means 6 cm, and when Z is equal to 2S means Z is equal to 2S means 60 cm. 60 cm. Here the equivalent single wheel load is 2050. So here 2050 kg, and here it will be 2050 into 2. So it will be 4100 kg. 4100 kg. So we have to find when Z is equal to equivalent single wheel load when Z is equal to 5 cm. So Z is equal to 5 cm, here 5 cm, and when Z is equal to 15 centimeter. So 15 centimeter is in between the Z is equal to 15 centimeter. So when Z is equal to 5 centimeter, so equivalent single wheel load is equal to the load that is P 2050 kg, because so when equivalent when thickness is 15 centimeter, when thickness is 15 centimeter, so it can be computed as, so it is the case of when Z is in between D by 2 to 2S and Z is equal to 15 centimeter. So it can be computed as 2p means 4100 minus log 2050 to the base 10 divided by log 60 to the base 10 minus log 6. So log 6 to the base 10, that is equal to log 10 log p dash minus log 2050 to the base 10 divided by log 15 to the base 10 minus log 6 to the base 10. So if I solve this, so you will get the value of p dash, that is equal to 2701 kg, and this is the equivalent single wheel load. So equivalent single wheel load is 2701 kg when z is equal to 15 centimeter.